For me, Chopin is a poetic composer in the truest romantic sense. His music is soft, inexplicably beautiful, deeply moving, and often filled with quite a sense of struggle and pain, as if those very emotions inspired his profoundly romantic melodies. His works, especially the Nocturnes, are pure gold for every pianist. Sometimes while learning and playing his Nocturne, I find myself in a way of how he managed to express so much within just 3 or 4 pages, something many other composers couldn't achieve with far more. His ability to say the most with so little is what makes his music entirely powerful. Chopin wrote his Nocturne from 1827 to 1846. He composed 21 Nocturnes in total. 18 were published during his lifetime, and the 90s, 20, and the 21st were published after his death. For me, it feels like the Nocturne held a very special place in Chopin's heart. They are deeply moving, and what fascinates me most is each of the 21 Nocturnes are completely different and uniquely individual. They seem to trace his personal journeys through life, beginning in 1827 when he was just about 70 years old and continuing until just 3 years before his death. If you listen closely, his early nocturnes have a dreamy lyrical quality with a naive, but the deeper you go into the later works, the more emotion depths you find filled with subtle pain, struggle, and intensity of Chopin's inner world. Today I would like to share my journey of discovering the Chopin's music, my emotions as well as method and the style I have discovered in interpreting his works. I will be focusing on Chopin's Nocturne Opus 9 No. 2, Nocturne Opus 27 No. 2, and Nocturne Opus 48 No. 1. So let's start with the Nocturne Opus 9 No. 2 in E-flat major. Chopin was just beginning to gain recognition in Europe. He had recently moved to Paris from Poland. This piece is incredibly dreamy with a touch of naivety and soft, delicate melody. It begins with the gentle chords in the left hand and the bright singing line in the right hand. So let me perform it. Very dreamy and beautiful. Look at this. And imagine this piece is only 3 pages long, and Chopin conveys so much meaning within it. Honestly, I love every bar. There is not a moment I would want to skip it. The dreamy, lyrical quality of this nocturne reflects that early romantic spirit and personal sensitivity of a young 20-year-old Chopin finding his voice in Paris. The approach to this piece, it's all about creating a single melody sound, shaping the horizontal movement of the music of the right hand. Look at this here. Another sentence. Another phrase. And another one. And adjusting the chords in the left hand. Here I need to go through, it's not just dynamically, like playing loud and soft, but by truly responding to each harmony, feeling it deeply and letting it through me in a unique and different way each time. Look at this, I have to respond and react of this chord. Look at this, what is happening? Look at this, it's getting down. More, different. Look at this. Look. Look Look at these guys, they're so different. They are so different. And as a piano performer, for me, it feels like Chopin was probably the first composer to add real color of harmony that we just witnessed when I demonstrate my left hand. The secret of his writing style is that he always treats the right hand as a main melody, which is very usual in classical music. But the left hand isn't just simple accompaniment. It serves as a second layer that adds color and deeps the main melody. We can say that the Chopin created kind of a romantic polyphony where we hear 2 or even 3 harmony layers at the same time. So let me perform it again, and please be aware of my harmony, which is the left hand, and it's really fulfilling my right hand. So basically probably I have 3 or 4 melodies. Look at this. Horizontal rail on my right hand, responding left hand. Look at this. Look at this. So different. Do you hear that? And another thing is that I also noticed learning the Chopin's Nocturne is that I often use one melody, again, one melody, and repeats it many times. But he's such a master in that. Each time it sounds fresh and new to our ear, even though it's the same melody. Look at this. I just finished from here. Look, the second phrase, the same. A little bit different from here, but the same. He just makes the cut. Do you hear that? He's such a master of using the same melody, but for our ear, it sounds fresh and new. But look at this. If you look to my third page, he adds basically the same. Repeating over and over again. Last page. Look at this here ending. The same, look at this. But only later he adds just a touch of octaves, which creates a tension. And then gently he returns to the original melody, almost like this swinging back and forward. Look at this. From here, chords. And look at this. Here, he adds acciaccatura, the quickly grace notes, which is later become very popular in romantic music. Listen. Gently melting. Again, harmony. Polyphonia. And he ends this piece softly and the gentle arpeggios. Very dreamy. And the last 3 chords repeats the same, but it sounds different for us. The final chords feels like a rose quietly blooming in the garden. Look at this again. I will play it again. Listen carefully, okay? The octave tension. And this piece is consists with 3 pages. And we just witnessed that Chopin, he is a real master of using the left-hand harmony and making so uniquely. And he's a very polyphonic composer, polyphonic in Romantical period. So now we move to Nocturne Opus 27, number 2. This piece was dedicated to his beloved Maria Wadzinska. It's expressed a sense of pure love through this elegant and lyrical style. So let me find it. Look at this. Indeed, this incredibly beautiful, dreamy, and almost like romanticizing expressions of love. As I previously mentioned, as a piano performer, I must say that Chopin invented a new way of understanding pianistic technique. Through his piece, pianists are required to develop entirely new technical approaches, and that's why probably we have so many Chopin's competition, because performing Chopin, it's really difficult in a way of phrasing, sound control, the harmony, because he's a very polyphonical composer. And look at this, if you look at the left hand, you will notice many jumping notes from the D to F. I can't jump, or I can't jump. And I have to control the level of the sound. And this is really difficult. Look at this. The same, repeating it. Keep repeating it the same. But wait till here. Listen. Inside half polyphonia. And I have to say, it's really difficult because he is really a master of romantic polyphonic composer. If you examine the right hand, you will notice that the melody, right hand, it's descending till note A, then it goes up again. And the difficult part in this nocturne is that when I focus on shaping the melody and phrasing, I sometimes lose the sense of the style and interpretation. But when I concentrate fully on interpretation, the style, I find it hard to control the phrasing and the melody. It's always difficult. It's really difficult, I have to say. Because look at this. Now let me focus on the phrase and melody. First phrase, now second phrase, third phrase, harmony. I have to react for this. But I don't like that because even though the phrasing and the melody is good, but I'm a little bit out of the sentence, out of the interpretation, out of the rhythm. And this is the tricky part is, now I have to follow rhythm. Melody. Now my phrasing, not so very expressive. That's the difficult part is. And I have to say that Performing Chopin, it's always overcoming your pianistic abilities. For me, his music, it's like tiny marble souvenir, delicate, similar, and first glaze, yet each one uniquely different. You have to handle them with the greatest care. Whenever I play Chopin pieces, I constantly facing two challenges that to these days, even the professors has, every time when I explain clearly, I never have the solution. And look at this. It also consists with maximum the 5 pages, but I really love this is the ending part. And the beautiful part, the emotions I feel when I play the final 3 bars, it's like a butterfly rising from my chest and flying away, almost as if I'm finally exhaling in long, heavy breaths. Look at this. Then look at this polyphony inside. I have to hold this one A and add. Then it will appear as a 3 chords. Again, let me try. The last moments I really love it. Look at this. In and off. It's a really beautiful piece. But again, I have to say, he used so much polyphony on the right, on the left hand. It's almost like interrupting your, like playing mentally, it's a little bit difficult Chopin pieces because you have to respond and react to the left hand of the harmony. But at the same time, you have the main melody on the right hand. It's almost like your left hand interrupting your right hand. And this is the challenge of playing his H Nocturne. And because he's so master of feeling music in a completely different way. Look at this, even here. Listen. Look at this, my left hand. So this beautiful nocturne truly captures Chopin's vision of love and romance, expression the depths of his feeling, the extraordinary tenderness and poetry. So now let's move to Chopin Nocturne Opus 48. Oh, this nocturne, it's incredibly beautiful, filled with struggle and pain. Honestly, I don't understand why some source like Wikipedia state that it was dedicated to his sister, while Russian source it often simply refers to posthumous. To me, this piece feels like a reflection of Chopin's entire life. Even from the beginning, it feels as if someone is taking a heavy, painful breath, drawn by sorrow and struggle. Look at this from here. Very dramatic. And softly, different touch. Again, polyphony. This piece is shortly only 3 pages, yet and Chopin expressed so much within it. The main melody is repeated twice. The right hand melody feels lyrical, slightly dramatic, while the accompaniment, for me, brings a certain brightness through the subtle harmonic changes. Interestingly, in the middle section, Chopin briefly introduced softly mazurka-like moment before returning once again to the main melody. So look at this from here. Very dramatic. In comparison of this one. As I told you, the later his nocturne or beginning was And look at this. His almost last nocturne. It's ending with the pain and struggle. And this is why I'm saying that the nocturne, it's very special for Chopin. It almost feels like he's describing entirely his life. Here, the left hand, a little bit brightening the main melody. And making a little bit brighter, and this is the contrast, is so beautiful. For me, this piece, it feels like Chopin, his final moment, where he's describing his entire life. It's flashing before his eyes. And this is the last phrase of the way how he ends from here. Look at this. He ends. With so soft, and almost feels like he seems to find the peace and tender, transcendent moment of love and serenity that perhaps he was never able to fully express during his lifetime. And I have to say that Chopin has a really difficult destiny in his life, and he left this life without being truly loved. And the Nocturne, in my opinion, this is the way how I perceive this piece. And he described his life, and it feels like he's describing his final moment as if his entire life flashing before his eyes. And for me, it feels like he's writing some story or letters to someone where he's basically describing his entire life. And almost he's describing his last moment of life. Look at this. This feels like a deep breath. And the question. He's letting here to write a sentence. One sentence. Comma. Another sentence. And the third tense. And again to the same thought. And this is the struggle of his pain. Another thought. Question, answer. And suddenly, he goes to that moment, beautiful moment. Another one. Again with the pain. Answer. And suddenly mazurka, which is represent actually his Poland style. And ending again. Again, he repeats the same melody, writing the sentence. More dramatic. Another sentence. More N here. It feels like a last breath. Excelling here. And last moment. And this is time. Again, harmony. And finally, he finds the peace. And this is the last moment, so serene, calm, and pure peaceful. I really love this nocturne. I don't even know why exactly, but for me it feels like living through every moment of Chopin's life from the beginning to end of performing this piece. I hope I was able to reveal something about Chopin's world through this performance. As I mentioned earlier, the Nocturne was very special to him. Perhaps it was even like a personal diary. Of course, not everything we know about Chopin's life may be entirely accurate, but what feels true to me and real to me is that personal experience and emotions I connect to when I'm playing his music. Well, if you would like to create me more detailed analysis of each nocturnes or tutorial how to practice and learn them, please let me know. And today was just generally explaining what I found, what I discovered in Chopin's Nocturne. And of course, I didn't go to the analysis and performance and some tricks and tips and the technique. So if you would like me to do some tutorial, please let me know. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you.